No.
We're connecting here. And now we're starting. Dot dot dot.
Ooh.
Hey.
Hey, and back to How to Be Real, a place where we can be real in a world obsessed with fake. I am Tasha B. I am an actor, a filmmaker, a writer, and creator that is happy to be making shit work. You know what I mean? That's the vibes.
It's always the vibes, isn't
Okay.
it? Like and I'm Tay. I'm a creative producer, a lover of all things wellness, and your favorite local yogi.
And after we get that out the way, I say, "How you doing, Tay?"
Girl, I'm doing great. I'm in the house. I'm in my house. You're in your house.
We're separated. No.
We're separate. It's crazy. But no, overall, I'm doing pretty good. I feel like I've been having just a lot of downloads about myself recently, specifically in like the last 24 hours, that it just feels like these downloads are coming super back to back. I'm like, wow, mm, I must really have opened myself up to allowing that recently because I'm like, sheesh, okay, we can slow down on the downloads. Just a little. It's fine. But how about you? How are you doing?
I I'm doing pretty good. I'm happy the sun is out today because I feel like April showers are great, but the gray skies that come along with it are, I'm gonna be honest, they're low vibrational. They are draining kind of. Like I don't know why, like when the sun is not out, and I'm sure I'm not alone, it just makes me feel like not doing nothing. Like I don't want to do anything. And I don't
Mm,
know, I've already been feeling the kind of overwhelm. I feel like Aries season, there was a lot of planets or whatever in Aries recently. I don't know
yeah.
if it's still there, but that energy just felt very, I think I said it last time on the last episode, like I felt very up in the air. Like just
Mm-hmm.
I was just not on the floor and I was fighting it the whole time, just feeling like, oh, I hate this. And I feel like I'm now in a space of just like, I'm up in the air. I don't like being here, but I am here. So I have to find a way to ground in the air as hard
Mm.
as it is. But I feel like I've gotten there or can get there. Maybe I'm not always there, but I feel like I can get back to it. I can still find it. Or at
Absolutely
least
right. Well, you know that clip where she's like, I'm finding it. I'm finding it.
yes,
Like trying to say something
be
nice.
nice.
Be nice.
I am finding it. I
I'm
am
finding
trying to find it.
it. Yeah.
It is not, it's still uncomfortable, but there's like, finding the comfort in that discomfort.
Yes.
And I feel like that's 2026, you know what I mean? Just like how do we exist in,
This massive
what did Kamala say? You
oh,
exist in the
the
context
context
of all that
of
is.
all that is.
It's just like, woo! I'm trying to exist in
Yes.
context, girl. We are trying.
We're trying. Like she pulled that out from her future self. What she saw in her crystal ball was like, ooh, they're gonna need this context line very soon.
'Cause, yeah, girl, I would have loved to just fallen out of a coconut tree, but unfortunately, I'm deep in this context. I'm
I'm
deep,
deep.
deep in the context, but yeah, yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Something though, going to the shout out because
Shout
something
out.
that really was cool to learn about is I think in the last episode or maybe an episode before that, I was talking about the first woman to run the Boston Marathon.
Mm,
And I was under the impression, like a lot of people, that it was a woman named Catherine Schweitzer in
mm,
1907. But she was the first registered woman. So what she did was she used her initials on the registration form. So she was like KV Schweitzer instead of Catherine. And
mm.
so, they didn't know that she was a woman until she pulled up to the marathon. And she got her number, she pinned it on. I think online it said she showed up with like her trainer and her boyfriend or something like that.
Oh, she
So
said, I
she
need backup.
yeah, I'm not mad. I would have did the same thing. Every man I know, please come because
Hell yeah.
defend me. For
Right, I'm
sure.
about to be on my Mulan type shit right now,
Right.
like, they might be like, "Dishonor on you, on your cow," you know what I mean?
They sure were trying to grab this lady. Anyway, so that's how she got in, and then she did have a number. So she was the first registered woman in 1967. But literally the year before that, there was a woman named Bobby Gibb, and she, like, was actually pretty badass about it. She's the one who was honored with a statue as well. So that's what this shout out is about. But so at the time in 1966, it was believed that women could only run 1.5 miles, that it was not physiologically,
Possible?
like the women were just physiologically unable to run more than 1.5 miles. Like
Like,
people didn't.
bro, what? In 1966?
1966.
Yo,
This was cray, but also like wow, you know what I mean? Women really are like So she was a runner though. She ran I think 40 miles or something crazy on her own just for fun. And so she was like, I want to do the Boston Marathon. 23-year-old Bobby Gibb was like, I'm going to Boston. I think her parents lived there, so she went to Boston and she was like, I'm running the Boston Marathon. Now, mind you, at this time, sports bras also did not exist. So she ran in a one-piece bathing suit.
oh, okay, I was about to say, I know she was not running no
I was
underwire bra.
I'm like, what did she do? It was a one-piece bathing suit, which is
Smart,
okay, you know,
innovative.
functional.
Mhm.
And so at first though, she called the organizer of the Boston Marathon and was like, hey, can I run? Like I'm a runner. I want to do this. I want to participate. And he said, no, you cannot. Women are not allowed. And I don't want to be liable for, women can only run 1.5 miles. So I don't want to be liable if anything crazy happens. Like I don't, I'm not trying to get
If you
sued.
pass out and just disintegrate into the sky, I don't want to because you went 1.6 miles. I don't want to be held responsible for that. Right. Okay.
So she was like, okay. Okay, so what she did, she put on her one-piece bathing suit, she put on some of her brother's shorts, and she had to wear men's running shoes because women's running shoes also didn't exist at this time in
Yo.
1966.
Because
This
I'm
woman
like,
is still alive today.
no, literally. Because I'm like,
Made her own statue. So it's like, this is crazy shit. Sports bras didn't exist. Women's running shoes didn't exist in 1966.
that's crazy. Like they wanted you to run or not run actually, but they were
Right.
like, "Girl, you're gonna go out there in your kids and beat the streets
In flats, in your kitten heels.
in your kid heels and your ballet flats." Go
So
ahead.
she also hid in a bush. So she was not registered. And that is why a lot of people don't know that she was actually the first woman to participate. She ran the whole marathon, but she wasn't registered because she hid in a bush near the starting line. And then when it started, she just blended in with the crowd and ran. So
Wow. Okay.
registered and she finished in 3 hours, 21 minutes, and 4 seconds.
Holy
She
moly.
was faster than two-thirds of the men who ran the marathon.
Girl, I'm proud of her. She's
Right.
like, I don't care. You could tell me no. I'm showing up and I'm doing it anyways. Cause fuck you. Did she run in the same like, where everybody was running?
Yeah, she went. She snuck on. So she didn't
Look at
have
that.
that registered number. And nowadays, like you definitely can't do that. I've seen videos of people kicking people off, being like, "Where's your number? Up, you gotta
Mm,
get out of here," which is crazy. Like, just let them run. They won't be registered. Why can't they just run here? That's annoying.
that
But
is.
yeah, so she wasn't registered, but she did sneak on to the course. So she did run with everybody, and people were like, "What? A woman?"
I
God,
wonder
19.
what,
I'm just saying, like, God, it's crazy to think that women can't run.
bro.
Like when they
Like,
can't train to run 26 miles. And it's crazy because I know women that have ran marathons. There's a lot of women. I think in the Boston Marathon there was like 14,000 women running the Boston Marathon. So it's like it's so common
dude,
now, but like not that long ago, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
geez, it's crazy.
literally.
Like, uh, but
No, yeah, because my own grandma was born in 1949, and
yeah,
so it's like that's just like 2 generations. That's it.
yeah,
Like, crazy.
grandmother's lifetime. That is nuts to think about that. And I'm like, my mom was born only at like what 8 or 9 years before the sports bra was invented.
And women's running
My
shoes.
mom is not old. You know what I mean? That's not to say my
Yes.
mom's old. That's just like this is where we are when it comes to women. And we're wondering now, we're looking around like, why are they not testing medicines on women? Girl, because they didn't even think we could run 1.5, 1.6 miles.
It's like,
I
so
don't
we can walk longer than that, but you can't run longer than that. It's like, make that make sense. What are you talking about?
make sense. It is so crazy. It is so crazy that they whew. Anyway, women just it was so inspiring. So yeah, still alive today. Bobby Gibbs, she was honored. Her statue is on the route. It's on like a certain street on the route. And she sculpted it. She's an artist. So she sculpted her own statue,
Wow,
made it in
that's
her own likeness.
crazy.
I like that because sometimes you be seeing statues and you're like, who the who
This
is
is
that? Like the
so
you're
fugly.
like, who is that?
This is so bad. Like,
Oh my.
so bad.
So yeah, as an artist, she got to like make herself, and I think that's really cool. And it's
That
cool that she
is.
is still living to have this statue and to be honored in this way. So shout out to her. Shout out to Catherine as well, because these two women had to make it work. They had to get crafty, and yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
super awesome and empowering to hear. So shout
No, for real.
out
Shout
Bobby.
out to them. Especially, I'm like, Taj, like, you're a runner, and I know you
Mhm.
were just telling me the other day, you're like, yeah, we were doing a 12-mile run. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, yo, the fact that I don't know. That's just crazy. The fact that they thought, "Oh yeah, you got your body just can't do it. Your body can have a baby with barely any with no medicine, for years and years and years, but running a mile and a half or more? No, 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 no.
You can't do it. You
You
just
can't
can't.
do it."
But it's almost like, how we talk about like patriarchy is, they want to keep women stuck. That's literally like telling a woman she cannot run. That is like the ultimate control, like physiologically, you can't run. You're telling me what my body can do.
Literally.
So basically they've been doing it and they're gonna keep doing it. It's ridiculous. I'm literally like, ugh, I don't know. It's I don't know. It both angers me, but then it also inspires me because I'm like, they wanted to stop these women from running, and they couldn't. They couldn't stop the women from. They ran. They did it anyway, and so it is kind of like it's empowering to be like, okay, let's not like think about the obstacles, and instead let's think about how we're overcoming the obstacles. For me, it's like a perspective change because like without these two women really doing this, like who knows if when women actually, I don't know, like we're inspired to run and do stuff. It's so interesting how just seeing someone else do something really makes you feel like I could do this. And that's another reason why
Exactly.
I'm loving the freaking the visibility that female athletes are have today. Like I'm loving it. Like it's so different even from when, even 10 years ago. So it's really dope to see that because a lot came from these two women. But really Bobby, because it's literally like Bobby did it unofficially. And then literally the next year, Catherine did it and figured out a way to register. So it is just that one person that shows you like women can do this. Because that
Yeah.
has been televised for a very long time. So I don't know. It's just dope.
Yep, it really is. It reminds me of where, like, back in the day when they used to be like, "You can be the change." You're like, "Oh, I can be."
And so yeah, I'm like, how can I be the change?
Right.
Can I be that lady
Let
running
it
that
inspire us.
officially or unofficially? It don't even matter. I just gotta do it.
Period.
Let somebody see me do it, and then boom, we're doing it. So
Yep. It's a feat nonetheless.
okay. Speaking of doing it though, so three realists. This is cool. I was inspired by a video I saw on social media of a woman talking about her non-negotiables when it comes to specifically to acting. She was sharing hers about auditioning and
Mm.
memorizing lines, and so I was like, "Ooh!" It got me thinking. And she did, you know how people do at the end. What are some of yours? And so that got me thinking about mine. So I was like, "Ooh!" And then I was curious to like you. I know you're not an actor, you're not auditioning, but you are pitching and putting together
Mm.
decks, and there's that similarity that we have of like between contracts, I'm out here trying to get a contract.
Yeah.
Essentially,
Yeah.
that's business.
Girl,
So
that.
yeah, our three real lists is our non-negotiables when it comes to us being prepared to do our jobs.
Yes.
What are yours, girl?
Girl, so recently I just put together a production lookbook. And so that includes kind of putting together like the creative direction overall and what, what we want the scenes to look like. And so it was I think I put together like 23 scenes.
Ooh,
And so, yeah, and it's one of my favorite things to do when putting together production. So I was like, okay, what are some of the three non-negotiables I need to have in order to successfully put together a production lookbook? First, before I even sit down, I need to be hydrated and fed because wow, if I'm thirsty or if I'm hungry, I hadn't eaten, I will still sit down and do it. And I feel like I'm the type for when I start a project, I like hyper focus on it. I have to lock in because the way my ADHD is set up, if I step away for a moment, girl, who knows when I'm coming back. So I'm like, okay, if I don't eat and drink before I sit down and do this, who knows when I'll do it? So that is definitely number one. Number two is having a discovery session with the people who I'm talking to, non negotiable. If I'm building out like scenes, like a whole lookbook for y'all, creative direction for y'all, I have to ask all the questions.
right.
Like,
So what are y'all looking for? Yeah,
what are
what's
you looking for? Let's get granular. Let's get real detailed. Send me some videos you've seen recently. They don't even have to be about shit else related to what you're building, but show me something that's piqued your interest and got you excited. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I want to kind of get into your brain, non negotiable.
right?
Um, and my last one is having from that session, and then also just like from once I'm looking at all the stuff from your discovery session, I have to make clean notes and I have to take good notes, and I need them. I need them by my side at all times because it's just like there's things that are in there that I might not have picked up when I was talking to you initially. Sometimes I just kind of go off on my own tangent and let my brain flow. And then I come back and I look at the notes like, you know what? That's not really what they asked for.
This might be the opposite of that. Uh-oh.
Yeah. Whoa, reel it in. Reel it in.
Need
It's
to
good to
reflect.
think big picture, but let's scale it down.
I hear you.
So I can't tell you how many times I've had the notes, but did not really look at them, wasn't really referencing them. And I've kind of had to do double the work because I did not use them. And now I'm like, it has to be a non negotiable. If I don't want to do double work, non negotiable, have some clear notes,
Mm,
girl.
mm-hmm.
Take them, reference them, use them.
Yes.
You took
Yes.
them for a reason.
Girl. Yeah.
Come on. So, but yeah, those are my three. Those are my three.
Okay.
What about yours, Tosh?
Okay, so my first one is kind of similar to you. Definitely I'll piggyback on the hydration, but for one is have like a chai or a matcha before. And if I'm doing an audition later, I'll save it. You know what I mean? And be like, "Oh, I'll have it later," because I like to have that extra energy, just a little bit of a pump to bring what needs to be brought to the audition. Uh,
Right.
Next, I do this little 15-minute yoga flow. Sometimes it takes longer, but like usually if I'm kind of like, okay, this needs to be in by a certain time and I'm doing it kind of same day, then I might be a little quicker with it. But it's very slow, it's very deep, and it just makes me feel really settled into my body, particularly my hips. Like I have
Oh yeah.
um well, I guess I won't say I have tight hips, but my hips is like the first place that I will start to feel that like tension build, or if I'm sore from a workout, like it's almost like my hips tighten up to support all of the
And
make everything like, oh, I'm moving like this. So
yep.
getting rid of all of that tension in my hips and, back and shoulders. It's funny how like you start working, you're like, ooh, my hips are tense. And then you're like, ooh, my shoulders are tense. You're like, ooh, my neck too. It's like getting all of that
I'm
to
like,
where
damn near
my
wanna
body,
do it now.
yeah, do it. I know. I feel like this. Oh, seeing someone else do this always makes you want to like. Okay, let me
It's
do
like,
some next.
sheesh. Yeah, like, damn.
There.
Ooh,
So yeah,
you ain't
removing
lying, girl.
tension and moving my body in that way in slow, deep ways really helps me to be in my body and not so in my brain, my head
Yeah.
things. So those two are the like before anything gets done, I need to do that. That's like right before I do the audition. And then memorizing lines. If there are lines to memorize, I like to read them aloud while I'm moving
Mm.
because it's very seldom that you are acting and your character's just sat in one spot, kind of doing,
Yeah.
and also walking around and just not really even pacing back and forth. I try to like meander around the house
Mm.
things. I might do it while I'm steeping a tea or while I'm cooking something, just be reading. It's nice to do that because then I feel like it gives the words and really just the lines and the story a chance to kind of get in my body. And it's like if it feels like it's in your body, it feels like either it's happened to me or it is happening to me. And then it helps to kind of like inject truth into the words when I say them. And
Mm.
so
Yes. Real,
that
like you said, embodied,
Yeah,
lived
very
in.
embodied. And for me, that also is with auditions especially, is like I don't need to be fully memorized, but I do need to have things pretty much memorized because it's nice to have the sides like in my hand so that way I'm not so focused on knowing each and every word that like if I do need to glance down at the thing in the middle of the read, I can do that. And it's not it just takes that pressure away of like I don't know, like you don't have to not being so hard on myself, not being that drill sergeant that's like you need to know every word, every period, every comma, every beat, like you need to memorize this. And because it's like one, this is the audition, they're not filming this, it's not whatever. And it's also like I need to make this my own. So even if I change, like there have been times where I'm like I changed a word. I said, you know, your instead of you are, you know what I mean, like stuff like
Mhm.
that, that it's like I didn't change the meaning of what I'm saying, but I changed it in a way that just makes felt more comfortable to my mouth. If
Mhm.
memorized, I won't do that, you know what I mean. I'll
Right.
do like stuck to it, and the audition really isn't to like you're gonna use my audition on the commercial or in the film. It's like the audition is to show you who I am as an actor. So I feel like being pretty much memorized, but if I need to be like, what was that one? Or, once I
Mhm.
the page, if I need to glance down at the page, that's fine for me.
Yes.
As long as I am in the moment and kind of showing up as my true creative and expressive self, like expressing myself as in a way that feels true to me.
Exactly. Exactly. No, that makes sense. Totally.
And then my last one is I like doing auditions when the sun is out.
Oh,
I
yeah.
usually am right in front of this big window in my living room. And I do have lights, but I just the feel of them, like it doesn't feel good to be under lights, artificial lighting, like it just doesn't feel that good. And I feel like the sunlight gives me like energy, it makes my skin look good, and it just makes me feel better. So I really prefer to do them. So when I can, there have been very few times where I have to turn on the light and I'm like, oh, it's nighttime. I feel like I could tell like that light just isn't as, I don't know, it just ain't, it don't give the
It
same
don't.
light.
It don't give the same, girl. You are so right. Like that natural sun, like also it keeps you warm, like it hits you just right. You're like, damn, like what they call it golden hour for a reason because you'd be like, mm.
Yes. For me, I'm like, hell yeah. Like, I need the sun to be coming through, even on a cloudy day. I might have to supplement with a light, and I'm fine with that. But like, I need to be able to open curtains and have some type of light coming in, honey. The
Yeah.
nighttime vibe is just, I don't know, also feels kind of weird too. Like, why am I doing this after hours?
Yeah.
If I have to, I have to.
Totally.
But if I don't, I'm not. You know?
Yeah. I'm right there with I'm like, if I can do most of my stuff in the daytime, that's why like I've been talking to Rod about this. Like, man, if the party isn't like a day party, I don't necessarily want to go. Like if it's not over at around 9 or something like that, like so the party starts at 9, it doesn't end at 9. I'm like, I feel like I'm in my daytime hours era for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
So I feel
I feel
that.
like if I am out late, I did not leave the house at 9. I left the house at like 7 or 6, and we just happened to be keeping it going. I'm down for that. But like you
Exactly.
said, something starts at 9, that's like a whew. And that's definitely gonna factor in because before, events like that, there's always a moment of like, do we really do still wanna how are you feeling about it?
Yeah.
Always that moment. And it's like 9 o'clock. Oh yeah, no.
It's like I'm usually doing my little nighttime routine, or I'm just really relaxing with my man, or usually around that time I'm really winding down, like, and now I got to try to really pump up the energy. It just feels unnatural.
And I'm in clothes that are probably not super comfortable. I've got like makeup on. My hair is probably done in a certain in a style, and yeah, it's like I prefer to be at night at home, especially with just like the stuff going on. I be
Girl.
getting anxiety, and I don't really like driving at night. Like I don't have vision problems or anything, but I just prefer to not be driving at night. I just don't really want to. I feel like stuff be happening. Stuff happens during the day too, but I don't know. Nighttime has a different vibe. It's like,
They say the freaks come out at night,
right?
so
So I'm just like,
not always the good freaks.
imagine getting all cute and then hopping in the car.
Mm,
If my
yeah.
man's there, okay, a little bit
Okay.
more comfy. But even, or if I'm meeting a friend, I don't know. There's not a lot of people I'm leaving the house for at 9 p.m.
I know, I know. So it feels very aligned to want to like do your work and get things done when the sun is out. It's like I do all my best stuff in the sun time.
Yep. Yep, yep, yep. I know there I'd rather wake up early than
Stay up late.
it's like, okay, if it's due, I try to do my auditions like a day before they're due if I can, if I have the time and the availability. But if it's say Thursday and the auditions due Friday, and I want to get it done Thursday, but I can really only fit it in around like 7 or 8, and it's like
Mm.
the sun down at that time. I don't really want to. I don't want to do that, and it feels just very much like ugh. Then I'll be like, all right, it's due at 10 a.m. on Friday. Then I'll wake up at 6 and do it at 7:30 and get it in before that 10 a.m. deadline. I'd rather do that than do it at night. Like that's usually a deciding factor for me. I
For
realize
sure.
it's like a recent kind of realization too, because there's been times that I've straight up been like, oh, if I can't do it Thursday during the day, then I'm just gonna decline. Like I'll
Mhm.
be able to do it, in a time that feels good to me. Or the times where, like I said, I have done them at night, and it feels like I don't really feel good about the audition. Like my performance is great, but looking at it, I'm like, ugh, I don't like how this looks, and
Yeah.
you know, I don't know. It's just not the same vibe. So I
Yeah. I feel that, girl. Non-negotiable.
not negotiable. Which is we've kind of dipped into our weekly real topic today, which I felt like that three list was perfect because we are talking about our freaky habits, our control freaky habits. Basically, Tay and I are both in control freak rehab. We've admitted it.
Yeah.
So yes, I am Tasha, and I am a control freak.
I am Taylor, and I am a control freak, a recovering
Yeah,
control freak.
recovering because we're working on it. Okay.
Yes.
So I want to start off by being like, okay, what kind of freak are we? What kind of control freak are we? And for me, I feel like I like being out of control sometimes,
Mm.
but then at the times where I want to be in control, I really want to be in control. You know, like it's like I either am like, okay, this is great, or I'm like, absolutely the fuck not. And it's very selective, and it's kind of I'm realizing not as black and white or like light switch as I may have thought, where I'm like, oh, I don't care about that. But it's like even when I don't care, I do care.
Right,
There's
right, right.
there is a line, there is there's a part of this that I am gonna have a strong opinion about, and I am gonna need it to be this way, or like
Mhm.
really want it to be this way. And then, so realizing that is like, okay, yes, I'm not just control freak about these things and not these things. It is kind of varied. It is a
Mm.
little bit layered. I do need to know more,
Mhm.
you know. But also, like, I will say that I have a love-hate relationship with planning for this reason. I feel like plans make me feel safe. Plans help me to be mentally and emotionally prepared for things.
Mm.
At the same time, when the plan, because it doesn't even have to just be my plan. Like if, you know, you and I plan to go have pizza and all the pizza places are closed and now we gotta pivot and have Caesar salad. While I love Caesar salad,
My taste buds were ready for pizza.
and
I
now
had
I'm a little bit stressed. It's like
yeah.
both of them cause me a little bit of stress and a little bit of anxiety of like not having a plan or having a plan and things don't go to that plan. Those things both offer their own specific anxiety and stress. And so I feel like that's like the perfect storm for being stressed out more than too, because it's just like either I'm going with the flow and I'm hating it, or I made this plan and inevitably something is gonna be off or have to be reworked, and that I'm gonna be like, damn it, this is why I don't like making plans, because then I like weirdly get attached to them. Oh,
Yep, yep.
oh my
I
God.
totally
But at the same time, I love setting goals and planning for the future and making lists and vision boards and all that stuff. So it is just like it's almost a catch 22. I'm finding it like I was saying earlier. I am.
finding it. Girl, I feel you. I feel like I kind of stopped planning too far ahead in the future. Like I can't if my goal or my plan is like past like the 1 year mark, to be 100% honest, I'm like, you know what? I think I'm gonna just release that because I definitely feel like I used to put a lot of pressure on myself to try to like make sure that those like super long-term goals, like how am I going to get into this long-term goal? Like and it was just like, bro, you are going so you're burying yourself so deep in it and trying to make sure that, 5-year goal happens or whatever, that you are not allowing yourself to enjoy the moment you're in. And it's
Mm,
like every goal, everything that all the small goals that you're trying to reach to get to that big long term one, you're not really paying attention to. It's like, oh, cool. And then tossing it to the side. Oh, great. Tossing it to the side, not letting it have its own time to shine because it's just like, I have to get to that. It's like, all right, girl, let go of the reins a little bit because you're not allowing yourself to enjoy your life right now. Like your life is made up of all these present moments. And if you keep trying to control so hard what happens in the future, you're not going to be able to even see the present.
yeah.
And, and then you keep moving the goalposts. So what about when you actually so anyways, I just kind of had to stop putting like those like goals into quantitative measurements longer than a year.
Yeah.
I was like, if I think that that's just for now, it might change. Again, I'm still in recovery. So
Right.
that it might change. I might be able to come back around to having a more healthy relationship with those longer term goals. But for now, what's working is just keeping it short and sweet, you
Yeah.
know, keeping it attainable and reachable. So yeah, I feel you on that. You know, that level, that type of control can be very stressful.
Yeah. But like, okay, so how would you describe, how your control freakiness, how would you describe it? Like what kind of
I feel like mine kind of shows up a little bit in my environment. So I would say, like work or how things get done. Because there are certain situations where I feel like, okay, I think I'm gonna redo it anyways. You know what I mean? Like whatever it is, the work or I'm working with people now, like having my business and being able to like delegate tasks has helped me to kind of release control on that as well. Like how I'm gonna just redo it because it's like, girl, you don't have time, like you don't have capacity to do that. So you need to just let it go.
Yeah.
So I would say, yeah, it's definitely like a little bit of an environmental control. I also, similar to you, thought I felt like, okay, I'm good at letting things flow, going with the flow, and I think I am to a certain extent. But there are absolutely moments where it's like, okay, we, like you said, we plan to go on at to this location, and I have an idea of how it should be done, and now I'm like kind of thinking about, you know, we did it whatever way, and I'm going with that. But in the back of my head, I'm like, we should have done this,
Like this or like this. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's great.
awesome. Like,
Yeah.
girl, and then also too, I don't know. I'm trying to think of like, I wouldn't say like the over preparer, but like the over thinker? Is that still the same thing? Like,
I mean, they're cousins. They're definitely related.
they're cousins, right? Because it's like, I feel like the over preparer is the person who's like thought of every outcome, nothing can surprise me. But like, I feel like I would more so think about it, but not necessarily act on it. Like, let me think about every situation, every outcome, so that I don't get any like, I guess that might be the same thing, but I'm not like doing things to over prepare. Like I'm not like, going out making sure I have every single medicine or every single thing. Like I might be thinking, what if I have all these different ailments, but I'm not going out and actually purchasing something that would help me for these potential ailments. You know what I mean? Like just as an example.
It's like
So I don't know.
mentally a mentally preparer. You mentally over prepare. Hear
Yes,
you.
exactly. So I guess it would show up as a mental over prepare and then a little bit of a environmental control freak.
Yeah.
A little bit of each
Yeah. Yeah.
of those.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I think I my over mentally preparing for things can trickle into like, okay, now I'm worried about it. And so I
Yeah.
am working on kind of like, girl, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. We don't know. You got them thoughts coming. Got to tell myself it's like, girl, okay, yeah, but we don't know that. That's not where we are right now. We're right
Exactly.
here, right now, and our lungs feel pretty good. I think
Mhm.
we're okay
I think we're good.
for now.
Yeah. Would you say you had any other control areas?
I know, like in relationships, I know definitely past relationships as well. It was probably a lot worse, but even in my marriage, there were times where I'm just like the plan situation, making a plan for something, and then it just not really going the way that I planned.
Mhm.
Like be control of the plan, trying to plan something with someone else, especially life stuff, where you're like, okay, yeah, I don't get to just make the decision about, who comes to the wedding or whatever. It's like it's not just up to me. You also have an input on this as well. So it's kind of sharing the reins on things where it's like,
Mm.
okay, you're right, this is us, this is us. I've definitely come so far, such a long way from how it used to be. But yeah, for a while it was very much like, okay, I'm doing it, but also like hating it at the same time and feeling like I'm gonna have something to say. You're like, oh, I'm inviting so, and I'm like, you should definitely invite so and so. I'm gonna put their name down. We can send them an invitation. If they don't want to come, that's one thing, but like we have to invite them, even though like my husband just like, I don't want to invite them. Like, why do we have to? Like, I don't understand. What are these rules? Um, and then like sharing space
Mm.
was something was also and still kind of sometimes can be just like I don't know if you had this where like your man will put something on a surface and you're just like, why did you put that there?
Girl.
Why?
Yes.
That doesn't go there.
It has a place.
You know, it
Yes.
has a place. But, then there was recently I was like really irritated because my husband I had cleared off like our nightstand. That time where you're just like, okay, the nightstands have a lot of stuff on them. Let's get the stuff off, clear them off, wipe them down, all the things. I had did that, and literally my husband came home from work and like set a whole bunch of stuff, like a hat and massage gun and just all this stuff to where it just looked dang near like I hadn't even done anything. And I was just like, why do you just pile all your stuff on your nightstand? And he was like, I don't really have anywhere else to put my stuff, to just put stuff.
Mm.
And I looked in the room and I was like, all my little stuff is on like the dresser and just different surfaces in our room. Like, damn, he hella doesn't just have,
Mm.
like, I have a whole desk. He doesn't have like a surface. He has his nightstand and that's his surface to put things. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that makes sense. Why it feels like there's just constantly a pile of shit on the nightstand. So that was a thing of like, okay, I need to kind of release the nightstand and then also maybe even think about releasing another surface in there, creating more space for him in there, because it is just easy to be like, this is my space, this is my
Yeah.
and it's like, actually it's your guys' both, so you do have to learn to kind of coexist. um and then for
Mm.
me, heavy on like expectations. This is like in life and relationships, like it's weird. Like, I didn't realize how many expectations I had until, you get in therapy and, you say something and it's just like, yeah, it just feels like this. And it's like, that feels like a rule. That feels like an expectation. You're like, oh, hmm.
Eesh. Is
You're
it?
mad. You're mad at this person. And a lot of the times too, it would be expectations that I'm like not sharing, obviously not sharing them with anybody. It is just like, I had this expectation, you didn't live up to it, and now I'm pissed.
And
And it's like,
now, yeah.
and
This
you're looking at
you
me like,
let me down.
why are you mad that I took the trash out before I went to work instead of immediately when you told me to? Like, I didn't know you needed it done right then.
Mm.
Then, for thinking further into that, you're like, oh, that is an expectation. It's like, why? Why does it make a difference whether he drops everything right now while he's getting ready for work to take out the trash, or waits until he's already gonna walk out the door and takes it out anyway? Like, why does that matter? Like, why? That is like,
Girl.
you're being a little controlling. Like, it does not
No. Honestly, that is so crazy because I feel like as women with those specific examples that you brought up, why are all women the same in that way? Because I feel like, yes, every woman I know who I've talked about relationships with has come up with a very similar level of like, why is that just, but also too, I feel like a lot of the women, at least a lot of the women in my life, are similar to where they will be like I don't have to tell a woman that necessarily. You know what I mean? Like if like a woman would put something down and be like, "Hey, where does this go?" You know what I mean? Like before even
or at least
setting it
look,
down.
for, if it's a hat, for example, I'm gonna look, where are hats, I'm gonna put this hat with the other hats, and that
Yes.
way it's probably okay, right? If I saw you put your hats here, and I still might even say something, I put my hat over there with the hats, is that cool? Okay, cool, that's cool. I just thought that made sense. Trying
Literally.
to being copacetic and just kind of
Oh,
keep
sure.
a certain decluttered vibe
Yes.
about the
And if
room.
somebody asked me to do something, if you were to be like, "Hey, Tay, can you pass me a napkin?" I'm not gonna be like, or not pass me a napkin because that's very like that sounds pretty immediate. But it's like if it's like, "Hey, Tay, can you pass me those shoes over there," knowing that we might be going somewhere later. You know what I mean? Even though we're going somewhere later, just because you asked me now, I'm gonna go get the shoes now. I just feel like I'm not gonna be like, I'll get them to you 5 minutes before we leave. I'm gonna get them to you just so that you have them right here. And you might even say, oh, you didn't have to do that right now.
Right.
And that's fine. And I know, but just something in me. And again, this is a trait that I see in a lot of other women. They'll be like, let me just do it now. Like, you know what I mean? So it is very interesting that we have those shared experiences specifically between like men and women.
And like those ties, just like, oh my God. But then it's like,
Yeah.
oh, you know what? That does hella make sense. He's getting ready for work. It does make
Right.
sense. Just like, you're gonna walk outside. Why not? Whatever. But
Exactly.
I'm just like, I'm tired of smelling this garbage.
Right. It's like I think with Rod, we've had very similar situations, and I have felt like, same. Am I fucking controlling, dude? Like, what's going on? But then, I feel like those situations, he teaches me a lot about like, oh, I guess I don't have to go get it immediately. I didn't have to go get Tasha's
Yeah.
shoes right now. Like, I don't have. I can also communicate and say, I'll get them before we go. Or
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Or whatever. So it is kind of like you said, I'm making those own rules on myself. Like that control actually kind of comes from me, which brings me to a question for you. Where do you think your like some of those control pieces kind of originated? Like, do you feel like you were trying to originally like protect yourself from something and then that control kind of came in? Like, where do you think it kind of came from or started?
Yeah, I do think it came from, growing up, like being a kid. I think the environment that I was in, um, the way that I interpreted the way things were happening and my role in the family was like I was the problem and everything was my fault. So I developed a habit of like blaming myself and taking responsibility for things. And then that kind of just
Mm,
became a trauma response to things, like when things don't go my way, or something kind of bad will happen, that I, don't like or whatever, don't want to happen again, I will tell myself like, okay, this was all your fault. And
mm,
and it's funny because it's like, okay, it's all your fault. And at first that would hurt, no one wants to feel like that. But then I guess I kind of transmuted it to be like this power. So now I feel like if everything is on my fault, then I'm in control. That's like a story
mm,
telling myself. If everything's on my fault, then I'm in control because I can just not do this, not do that. Try to do this next time. Try to think about that next time. Try to consider this next time. Try to do something, do this differently and that differently, and take responsibility for all these things that are like totally not in my control. And,
mm.
you know, obviously it got to a point of it being like, okay, this is extremely unsustainable for me. But I do think that that's where it started, just feeling like, okay, if I'm the problem, then I can also be the solution. So let me just take it all on and, figure it out. And definitely to protect myself from the feelings of like, I don't know, like, I guess when you put a lot of blame on yourself and you're constantly blaming yourself, getting that from someone else can,
Mm,
like, you know what I mean? It just feels
yes.
more, I don't know, it almost feels like you have a wart or something on your face and you see it every day. You're there with it, you cope with it, and if someone else calls it out, that feels just more like, okay, wow,
Ooh,
just
yeah,
low blow. Why did you do that? So I think that's it. It's like this sore spot that's always sore because I'm always blaming myself for these things. And then you blame me, and now I'm like, now
mm,
blame on myself. It's just so, you know,
yes,
painful. But now that I'm stepping back from that, I am noticing that it's like, okay, I need to take stock of like what really is my shit and what isn't, you know?
absolutely, absolutely. Damn, that's girl. You were talking, I'm like, yo, you are saying pinpointing like that, especially using that example of like having something on your face and feeling like I'm already very aware of this. And I think that's how sometimes like I've had to tell folks like, ooh, that's my bad. I kind of got a little extra just now because I have been thinking this has been something I've been thinking about so hardcore. And now that you touched on it, I feel like you maybe just lightly tapped it and it felt like a stab. You just try to stab
Right.
it. And then I gave you the reaction as if you were trying to stab it. And it's like, okay, sorry. I had some things on my mind. I've been putting a lot of pressure on myself and I feel like I can very much relate. I also agree. Childhood. I mean, so much of this is just so much of our issues just stem from fucking childhood, right? Like
We
our
just been
little,
doing it for decades.
literally our little sponge brains just like taking everything in. Protection, protection. Um, but I feel like for me, it was I was like one of the only kids born at the time that I was in my family. Like all my cousins are either older or younger, like either much, not much, but a good amount, 5 years older or 5 years younger. You know what I mean? And I feel like at least younger, there's a bigger gap for sure. And also the only girl in that time period of my cousins. And so everyone was very much like, oh my gosh, like, just had high expectations for me since a very young person. And I feel like it made me feel like I can't do anything wrong. You know what I mean? Like if I do something wrong or am too, mean with my response or whatever, like it would just be seen as that is not like you. That is so out of your character. You know what I mean? And you're just like, okay, like feeling like I have to be a certain kind of thing. And so I think a lot of that whole like, oh, I'll just do it myself. It kind of comes from that, like feeling like if I have control over what I'm doing, no one can say anything bad or negative, like it's a my control freak has a praise kink.
Tell me I look good. Tell me I did great.
Literally, like, please, is this good? I did it fast. Did you see I did it fast? I brought it to you right now. It's just nobody else does it that fast, huh? Like nobody's that efficient, are they? Because that's you know what I mean? And it's just like, okay, whoa, when do we turn that off? And that goes also to the overthinker preparedness, whatever we said it was. And it's like, trying to think of all the different scenarios that could happen so that I can still come out squeaky clean. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And if I have control over it, then the only person to blame if it doesn't come out squeaky clean and it doesn't get done right is me. Because if somebody else is in charge of me not looking good or not coming out looking like a good package, whether it be in whatever scenario, now I'm pissed. Now I'm pissed. If I had just controlled it, it would be fine. Like, so definitely, I feel like that's like the little bit of an origin story for like my control freak.
Yeah. I like that you said a praise kink because I feel like for me, while I do like the praise, I feel like the control freak in me likes like the kink is very much like gifts and rewards, you know? So
Mm,
like for me, when I do stuff and I don't feel like there's a payoff, there's no it could be a praise or it could be like you made this plan. Now you're gonna get your plan. It's gonna get done exactly the way, and everyone's gonna have a great time. And it's gonna, have a great, someone's gonna text you and be like, that was fun. Or, you're gonna enjoy the meal. So if I
mm.
go and I do my plan, but I don't enjoy the meal, a bunch of elements got switched around, or we had to totally be like, hey, there was no parking here, so now we got to go to a whole different
Oh,
restaurant. It's like all this different stuff like that feels like, okay, I'm not getting my things. Like I didn't get my things for all of my control. Like I held all of this, I did all of this, and I didn't get my stuff. I have no stuff.
that's
That
tea.
that's enough to make me want to pull my hair out. Like I didn't get my stuff.
But
Where's
I showed up and I did what I had to do.
my diet Dr. Kelp?
R-
Where's my drink? Like really? I did all this and I don't even get my stuff.
Like, there's no pickles.
There's
There's
no
no
pickles,
pickles.
girl. No, I can't handle it. So I know
Right.
and crazy enough, there's been a lot of that in the past few years for me, where I'm, make these plans, and then like I did everything that I could, but I don't have any things at the end of it, and I'm like not feeling empty because obviously, like you do things and you don't just do things for things. Like that's my like my ego and the control freak in me that wants those things. But like me, I know that the point of doing stuff is living, baby. We're here
Mm,
to live. It's an experience. It's not a win, it's
exactly.
not a loss, it's not a failure, it's not a success. It's just life. It's experience. It's more information, right? But that control freak hand to hand with that ego is like if I didn't get my things, girl, I don't know.
Why do we do this?
That's like climbing to the top of the mountain and not taking a picture. Did you even do
Right.
it?
Did you
Did you
even
even
do
do it?
it?
Were you there?
Right. Or being like climbing to the top of the mountain and like the actual top is closed. Like actually nobody's available. Nobody can come up here anymore. They're
You
closed
actually
to
don't get to see the
maintenance.
view. Oh, darn. Actually, all these
Right.
trees are in the way. You can't go any further because this is as far as you can go. So, just gonna have to hold that.
It's like you
You
you could
believe
say
it.
you still climbed the mountain. You basically got to the top. You just didn't get to the tippy top.
You're not gonna have any proof that you did this.
Right. Who cares that you got to the side of the mountain? Like we want you at the top. I get it. I get it.
Uh,
I get it.
I have a question for you though. When
Okay.
was the first time that you maybe realized, like, what was something that was maybe said or something you did or said that made you realize, like, oh shit, I might, I might have some control issues.
Ooh. It has to be honestly a relationship with a man. Like it's gotta be because I
That'll
feel
do
like
it.
it's got to be because it's like I don't know, a man will really has a way of holding up a mirror to you, or maybe I'll say it like a partner, but like I've only partnered with men, so I'm gonna
Yeah.
just speak to. I mean, I guess friends can do that too, but I think your partner, your person that you're with day in and day out, long term or whatever, just I don't know, you get just a little
Oh, absolutely. When you're sleeping with somebody, that's a version of you that only people that you know what I mean? Like you're
yes,
gonna be connected with anybody else in that way. When you got
exactly,
commitment, that's a side of you that you're only showing to those select people, you know?
yes,
I t-
1000%.
it's just
No, it's so different, and I think with Rod, he, like, was, like, the first person that I've been with that was very much like I thought that I had been with people who knew themselves, and maybe they did in one way or another, but I feel like Rod always open, of course, to growth, but, like, he has always been like, "This is me. At my core, this is who I am," and I felt like for a long time, I was like, I thought I knew myself too, and I think having the way that he communicated in his household, him and his family, very different than the way that me and my mom communicated. First off, big family, they got the big house and everybody's yelling at each other and like, but it's love though, like banging on the door, get out there. And then you come out and it's like, oh, hey, and I'm just like, whoa, like
that was
you guys
scary.
aren't mad at each other. Is everything okay?
Right.
Um, and Rod's like, yeah, everything's fine. We're just, yeah, this is just, we're expressing, and I'm like, oh, okay. And I think like being around him and him and his peoples being so expressive, it definitely gave my inner child like a safety to also find that expressiveness again, kind of how we were talking about, like feeling like you have to be in this box and be perfect. And it's like, okay, no, actually, Rod was like, let's open that box up. Like, come on out. Like, smell the
Right.
fresh air, girl. Like, and I think when I really was like, oh, I got a little control on there is like very similar when we moved in together and almost exactly what you were describing about him placing things other ways. And we had a really big argument. It was bad. Like it was a really big argument, like where it was about literally where his hats were going. That's how it started. And then it ended up with him being like, you always have to control like what's going on in this house. And I'm just like, what are you talking about? It's just how things go. Like, what do you mean? So anyway, I think that was definitely, I remember because I was like, you know what? I left. I went and I slept in a hotel. I was like, you can
Mhm.
have it. You keep the house. I'm going. And he was like, what are you doing? I was like, nah, I can't. I don't even want to be here. I don't want to be around nobody. I'm going to go get a hotel. And I just went and I like was in there like I was hot. Oh, I was so pissed. Came home the next day and he was hella like, I don't want to do this. I was like, I'm not answering. Don't call me. You know what I mean? And he was like, I really feel bad about that whole thing. And, I think we just need to have a regular conversation about this. And then I think him being so nice and hella apologetic, and he had flowers and stuff. And I was just like, I was thinking about it too. And I think I can loosen up a little bit. Like, I think if I just was like, you know what, yeah, that's fine. Your hats can go wherever, this argument probably would not have even happened. So I would say that that's probably when I really started to scratch the surface as an adult. There was probably other inklings before then, but the time where I was really able to embrace it and be like, I think I need to look into this a little more was probably then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you? Can you remember? Like, yeah. What about you?
I know for me, I can maybe not accept it, but when I was like, ooh, maybe I am kind of a control freak. I was doing a group project in high school, and I first off, every time they announced a group project, I would get so irritated. Like, bro, I don't want, and and it usually was something that was like, make a poster board,
Oh,
research something, write about it, and then make a poster board with the points. Now, as someone who both loves to write, I do also like researching things, and I'm also creative. I
mm,
want control of all of that. Like, I want to control what our topic is, what we write about, and what's important from what we wrote about. And I also want to pick the poster board and make sure that things are cut out the way they need to be cut out, and like make sure it looks good. Uh,
yeah.
and being in a group project absolutely is like it's like someone's gonna do the writing, someone else is gonna pick the topics and p- cut out what's gonna go on the poster board, someone else is gonna do that, and then you just feel like I absolutely hate this because you know what I mean, like you picked a yellow poster board. Who does
Mm,
that? Why is it yellow? Why is it not white? It should have been white. It's just like, for me, that was the, like, I remember like talking to my mom or somebody about it and just being like, man, I think I picked the writing, and the poster board just did not look good. Like
mm,
um,
real.
maybe it looked good, but to me it just looked like that's not how I would have did it. And now I'm really unhappy with the project. I'm unhappy with it. We're gonna pass. We got a decent grade, but it's just like
No.
I hated this. I'm
Yeah.
glad it's over. I hated the whole process of just like, ugh.
That's a
For
good
me,
one.
that
Yeah.
was like, okay, I don't like working with other people.
That's a good one.
I don't
That's
want
a
to
good one.
I don't trust you to do this the way I want it done. I think at that time though I was just like, I'm just particular. Like, I'm just really particular about, these things. And then yeah, accepting that I'm a control freak is probably in my late 20s, and definitely very similarly in a relationship with Dell, my now husband. Like, those the stuff you argue about, and then they will say, like, I've had Dale be like, that's controlling, and you're like, no, it's not. What is that? You're always wanting to just be like, you're being dramatic. That's not control. That's not what controlling is. Like, and look at you. I can't leave, look, buff dude. I can't control you. I'm like, what are you talking?
Right.
That's not, you're a grown man. You think I can control this grown ass man? That's not how it works. But like you said, like, once you do get to that point of being able to take that time to self reflect and be like, oh, and then even talk to a trusted therapist or someone
Professional.
that could be like, yeah,
Yeah.
or
Mhm.
even just ask that, how would you feel if he said, you know, why do you have all your stuff on your nightstand? How do you think you would feel? And you're like,
Like,
oh, I would be
'cause
like, don't don't tell me what's on my nightstand. It's like, does it?
Mhm.
And I remember she asked me one time, like, does Dell ever tell you where to put your stuff? And I was like, oh.
Like, no.
I mean, like, why would he though? He doesn't care.
Right, right.
Like, maybe he does.
Exactly. Maybe, we never know, but he probably don't.
And then even when Dale was with him saying that, like, this is the only surface in the room that's really mine, and I'm like, oh.
Like, wow.
I looked, and it was like, at first I was like, what? And then I looked around the room and it was like, no, yeah, that's very
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
That is surface. Yeah.
Yep.
True. So if you want something in the room and you don't want to like put it in a drawer or whatever, you do have to set it here, and that is why your stuff is there. And that does
Literally.
you need to, like you were saying, I do need to loosen up a little bit.
I guess I need to control and let release the reins a little, like, and it's so crazy because now, like, Rod will, we've come a long ways since that big argument, but we like now he'll be like, oh, we'll be doing it to me sometimes. Like, hey, can we like not put this here? Like, I want to make sure that we put stuff over here or something like that, and I'll be like, oh, okay,
Sure.
yeah, sure, like it goes better here, but all right, yeah, sure. Trying to just like
Yeah.
release the need to follow up and say some shit, like be like, okay, because 90% of this house, you placed everything. Like you're everything, or maybe you didn't place it, but you decided where it was going, you
Yeah.
know? So it's like, all right, it's okay to let's just let it go. Let it go.
Let's let it go. Oh my God. Yeah. I feel like that's another question that I have for you
Mhm.
is we talk a lot about like surrendering and flowing and stuff like that. But how does that work for you when you feel like you're losing control or have lost control of something? Like how does flowing or surrendering work in those moments? Because as control freaks, those moments are the toughest where you feel like you are either losing some control you felt you had, or you're feeling like, okay, I completely lost control. Like this is totally out of my control. So what does surrendering in those moments look like or feel like to you?
Man, that is a good question because I feel like it feels tough. Like still to this moment, I have not gotten to the point where it feels effortless yet. It definitely feels like work, like I'm very conscious of like, ooh, because it's like a buildup. My first instinct is to try to control it. Like that's like, pretty much like we've been talking about since we were young. That's the first instinct is to go to the default, and the default is to control in whatever way is starting to build up and work up. And so I really have to breathe. Like I gotta breathe through it for a second because it's like, oh shit, I'm about to
Right.
like when the doctor hits your knee and your leg just goes out, like
Reacting.
yeah, just reacting. And so um yeah, it definitely feels like work. I feel like in my body, it feels like jitters. It feels like um, rapid heartbeat. Like it feels like a little unsafe. I'm gonna be honest with you. Sometimes it's just
Surrendering
like
to it feels unsafe?
sometimes, yeah, like in my body, like because
Yeah,
my
yeah, yeah,
body's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
the control's gonna keep us safe, girl. What are you doing? Like
It does feel like kinda like getting out of the cage or like going outside of the boundary. You're like,
exactly.
"Ah, is it safe out here? I don't know." Okay. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's
Like,
like I
yeah.
have to realize like that's, little me. And I'm like, as older me, as adult me, I gotta tell little me, hey girl, it's good. You are safe. I am keeping us safe. You don't have to do so much work anymore. Like I know you've been working overtime. I imagine my little self as like, like maybe a 10-year-old in like big girl clothes, like a big ass blazer or something like that. That's just like hella big and baggy with like, adult clothes on. Like, all right, I got it. You're like, whoa, let's get you some clothes that fit. I will take the blazer. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And so it definitely, it's like a lot of mental work for me, honestly. It might, on the outside, I might be looking like this. But on the inside, I'm like, that movie, what's that movie? The one
Inside
about all the emotions?
yeah, Inside Out.
Yes, in the inside, I'm inside out, just running
Right.
around, shit is on fire, like somebody's trying to file the paperwork in the back, the printer's not working. Like it's like that's how it feels. And I am at least now I can stay in my body. Like I can stay, like I can be looking like this. And whereas before, I feel like I would kind of start having a little bit of panic, a little like external reaction where it's like I need to remove myself. Maybe somebody's like, what I mean? I need to go to the other room. I need some ice. I need some ice. I need, I need some fresh air. Everything's good. Everything's fine. Everything's cool. And now I'm like, okay, it still feels a little foreign, but I'm able to stay embodied, like you were saying earlier. I'm able to kind of stick with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm definitely still working it out, still trying to find the best approach while trying to be in the flow, because it definitely feels a little wild. But I think the next level to unlock more flow is to kind of, I know this has been a theme of some of the things we've been talking about lately, but to kind of be a little more vulnerable, a little bit more open about
Yeah.
how I'm feeling, instead of trying to just take it on and hold it on. I think that's still, again, a version of control, trying to control how it looks, how it comes across, how it seems. But shit, I'm working with what I got. I'm doing the
Yeah.
best I can with what I got. Where's the
Okay.
Mariah? All right.
Doing it. Doing it. It's
What
so
about you?
it's so funny to hear you say that because I do feel like we're on the same spectrum, but we're working our way from opposite sides. Because you were saying like you know, from what I hear at least, like you want to get to a place where you're not so worried about how it's going to happen, or maybe what's going to happen when you do share some of these more vulnerable and I would even say like the scary emotions that it feels to share with people.
Yeah.
And I feel like I was on the side of just like letting too much out, like being my reactive wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna just clam up. Mine was more like, I have to say this, okay? And it's coming out how it's coming out. And a reactive sharing of emotions, not the healthiest way to communicate. So for me, it's absolutely like kind of the opposite. So I feel like for me, what it looks like, it is removing myself for a second and like owning my shit and being like, okay, Tay can't make it for pizza. So now we're doing salads over here at the cafe at a completely different time. And now you got to rethink your outfit and all the things. Am I irritated with Tay for this? No. But am I irritated about this? Absolutely. And so it's like if I try to communicate with you immediately in that moment of irritation, it is gonna, like you say, it's gonna come across, and I'm gonna, be my tone is gonna come off like, oh my God, da, da, da. Or in the moment, I might even just be like, this is too much. Let's just reschedule so that we could do
Mm,
like we said we were gonna do. So let's just do it, next Thursday. And I feel like now I'm in a space of like, you get the initial like, girl, first of all, can't do 3 o'clock. Pizza place ain't open at or pizza place ain't open until 3 o'clock. So now let's go over here and do salads. Now it's like, okay, got the information. Before I respond, let me take a step away. Give it 30 minutes.
yeah.
Do what I need to do, whatever it is. And sometimes it's nothing. Sometimes it is just like, okay, let me sit with that for a second and just sit like, okay. And it's like, oh, you know what? Maybe I'll Google this cafe. Ooh, that salad actually does look good. And it's okay. I guess I can do pizza another time. Dale likes pizza. Maybe we can do pizza tomorrow or pizza for dinner. I'll have
Mm,
this with Tay for, at 11. And then at 6 o'clock, I'll do pizza with my man. So it's like thinking about that and just being like, girl, this is not your only time to have pizza. Now, when I message you back,
right.
I'm from the place of like, okay, girl, yeah, you know what? Actually, that sounds good. Let's do it. And that's been helping me with surrendering of like, okay, I am not in control of these situations, other people's schedules, whether a restaurant is open at whatever time or not, or whatever else life is doing, right? Outside of this.
Yeah.
But this I can control. And so
Right.
once I, fully grasped that, it was like, okay, so if some of these things happen, because they're going to happen,
Right.
and there's delays or switch ups or whatever, I have to get to the place where I can be like, all right, because of this, I'm feeling this, and this is what's going on with me. So I don't even want to look at this anymore. And this email just pissed me all the way off. Let me away from the email and
Slowly.
yeah, and remind myself like there is no urgency. Take the urgency out of these things. And so for
Mm,
what like it will feel like it's like an immediate like, no, oh my gosh. And I do get attached to the plans. Like I do making plans. I find that it's easy for me to be attached to them. And so, the changing of the plans, that reaction is to try to make it work. Like, let's no, we can do this, we can do that. What about this? What about that? Da, 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 da. And it's just like, let it go, let it
Yeah.
go. And so
Yeah.
walking away from it is like okay, it's like a physical way for me to kind of, I don't know, like get that started, get that letting go started of like, okay, I just read this email, it just pissed me off. And usually the email's telling me that some shit that was supposed to happen at this time is now not gonna happen at this time. That's like, ugh. And it's like, okay, let's walk away from it. Meaning let's also set down that expectation. Get rid of the expectation, leave the expectation in the past where it was like, okay, this job was supposed to happen at this time and now it's not. All right, that's enough. What do I need to do? What do I need
Yeah.
to do to accept it and then be like, okay, now that I've accepted it and I made this okay, now I can come back to the conversation and be like, whatever I do need to say, because maybe I really do want to say, what? That's crazy. Maybe I do want to say that. Or maybe I just want to be like, cool, thanks for the update. And that's enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of the opposite there of just like, pull away for a second and then come back.
Mhm. Exactly.
Okay,
Exactly.
go back. It's okay to do that.
Mhm. Mhm.
But yeah, I know awareness of these things, of really anything, is the first step of being like, okay, I do be trying to control stuff.
I be doing a lot.
And I am blaming myself for stuff as a means to feel like I'm in control of the things that I'm blaming myself for. And for that, like I'm really, really proud. Snaps for me because I have gotten this mantra now when I it's like I can control the things I can control, but as soon as I start feel myself or hear myself start to like overthink or even, maybe blame myself or feel like I'm taking on some responsibility for something that's out of my control, I
Yeah.
will catch it in the moment and be like, that's actually none of my business. Like, oh,
R- right.
that's actually none of my business.
That's actually not my problem. Like,
Really not,
hmm,
that has nothing to do with me. That has nothing to
exactly.
do with me.
Yes.
That always snaps me right back to where it's just like, why is he doing this like that? What does this have to do with you?
But get get out them people's business. Get out them people's
It
business.
doesn't have anything to do with you. Let it, that's not you. What are
Yep.
you doing and how are you doing it? Let's bring it back to that. So
Mhm.
yeah, absolutely been helpful. So I'm liking that.
Yes.
And also something that's kind of helping me balance this whole thing out is just kind of not forcing things. I keep saying it, but it's like not forcing it. Because
True.
for me, that is sometimes how that will manifest too. Like trying to control it is trying to force something. And that
Exactly.
is like, no, I don't want to force it. Honestly, something that when I was meditating on about like, just the mantra of don't force it, let it flow that I've been focusing on lately, I was literally like, bro, the energy of forcing stuff feels so desperate. Like it
Mm.
desperate. It's in that frequency of desperation. And I do not like that. I don't like that. When you're trying to force a situation, that is you are desperate, girl.
Call
Ooh.
it out, girl. Oof.
And when you put it like that, why would I ever want to do that?
It's like stand
I'm
up.
not desperate. I'm not desperate. And I feel
Stand
like
up.
that's gonna be something that I say moving forward when I find myself in the like force mode. It's just like you're not desperate for this. You're not
No,
desperate. You're not.
you're not.
It's
You're
okay.
not.
You're
Uh-huh.
You're not desperate. And it's like, oh yeah, you're right. Don't force the conversation because am I desperate for this conversation? I'm not.
I'm not.
And the
I'm
forcing is
not.
giving desperate.
Girl, oh my gosh, that is a fucking bar. Like I'm going to start incorporating that. I feel like something that has been helping me is feeling something I say in yoga all the time is listen to your body, right? And there was a time where I like kind of broke down what would listening to your body mean for someone who's never done heard that phrase ever before, or maybe you've heard it and you're like, okay, but what does it mean, and like I've been trying to also practice that myself, like being like, okay, I am, when I say listen to your body, it's like, okay, what, maybe you start with just like your finger or your hand or something like that, and you're like, for this, for today, I'm going to pay attention. Anytime my mind wanders and I start getting into worry or whatever, I'm going to look back at my hand and try to like feel what my fingers feel like right now. Can I feel like the little random twitches they make? Can I feel like the, material of the pants under my hand or on my computer, whatever it is, like just trying to really connect with a piece of myself. And for me, I have, girl, I'm a gut health girl because whew, a lot goes on in there. So um, I know that the liver in Chinese medicine, the liver, the kidney, the spleen, they all represent like your your chi, your flow of energy.
Mm,
And it could also be harboring like your expression, like you're, what are you saying? Like, are you holding on to anger? Like, are you having digestive issues because you're holding on to anger, holding on to unsaid words or things that just need to come out, basically? And so I tend to focus on like my tummy when I'm feeling that feeling of like needing to wrap in control. I'm like, all right, let me tap in to my tummy. How was my tummy feeling? How am I listening to my body? And it's like, if I feel like that vibration of force, like you were saying, like that feeling of, okay, I have to keep it. I always notice that I have these little jitters in my belly, and not like butterfly jitters, but the kind that feel like, when you are like bloated, I
mm,
guess. Like it kind of feels like that, like a inflammation. It kind of feels like
mm,
inflammation, like just like too much activity in there. And it's like, ooh, okay, this is not something that is sitting with me. Like, I don't know why this is telling me I need to surrender. I need to give this more time. I need to let go. I need to, whatever it is, I need to stop what I'm doing right now. I need to stop what I'm doing. And I think you said it beautifully. I think that really is very much in alignment with that, the force and with the energy of desperation. Like, girl, stop making the circle try to fit into the square. You're
It
good.
what are you doing?
What are you doing?
It's not that serious. I know.
It's not.
Um, I like that you said, you feel that in your gut. For me, one of the first places that I started to pay attention to of like how does it feel in your body is like my neck and shoulder area. Specifically
Mm,
because I kind of had to like my force and like the tension and me tensing up when I'm super stressed and overwhelmed, I will get like the biggest knot in my neck and it'll just feel like and I remember when I was less aware of like, all these feelings, it would feel so random. It would be like, man, why does it randomly my neck will just feel like crazy? And I would, be like, oh, maybe I slept wrong or whatever. Um,
mm,
but then it was like, I remember there was one day where like I was stressed about, you know, work stuff. I was stressed about me and Dell not being on the same page. And then like the house was kind of messy as well. And I was cleaning and I felt like I was trying to do a whole bunch of things all at once.
mm.
And I remember I was talking to Dell on the phone. And for some reason, I was talking to him like, how you hold the phone like this, like with your
Yeah.
ear to your shoulder. I was doing that, and then I was like also cleaning something at the same time. I don't know. It was I was
Doing the
doing
most.
because we weren't seeing eye to eye, so the conversation it wasn't like an argument, but it was one of those conversations where we're both like kind of locked into the conversation of like, no, okay, I'm trying to understand what the heck's going on. Well, I'm trying to understand what's going on with you, and we're both kind
Yes.
of that like, how do we not be like, what is this, So
Yes.
it was just a lot going on at the same time, and my neck locked up on me, right? It like I just felt like the most like Charlie horse intense kind of tightening in my neck that just felt like ugh. And I remember I like and dropped my phone dropped. I dropped all the things in my hands, and then I picked up my phone and just laid on the bed and phone, and I was like tearing. I was like crying, and I'm like, Dell, like my neck. He was like, are you okay? What's going on? It just hurts really bad, and I just have, and then, that became just
Oh.
like, I don't even know what's going on. I feel like there's too much. And he was like, why are you like cleaning and on the phone? Like, wait, okay. He was on his way home from work. So he got home and he like rubbed some CBD stuff into my neck and was like, take a ibuprofen, drink some water, let's chill. We can have the conversation later and like whatever. But then from that moment on, I remember I had gotten into my bed and I had like hella pillows to where my neck
Mm.
propped because any holding my head up just felt like, oh.
Oh.
But that is what made me really pay attention to my neck because I was like, what? I was asking, like, what was I doing? Like, I've talked on the phone and cleaned before, like, so I don't think it was that motion. I think it was something else. And so then I was paying attention, and every time, like, I would feel overwhelmed or having some stress in my life, I would feel tightness in my neck, and then I would even
Mm.
in times that I've been stressed and I've looked at myself in the mirror, like caught a glimpse of myself, and I'm like my shoulders, and I'm
Yes.
like a little bit of neck and shoulders all at the same time.
Yeah.
It's not this drastic, but it is like I
Look
can,
at that.
just like, ooh, I could see the tension up here. I can see
Yep.
it in my shoulders. And so that was like okay, not only just take a deep breath in moments of like overwhelm or stress, but also drop your shoulders too. Like take a deep
Yeah.
breath and release this tension,
Yes,
and
girl. Mm.
because all of this connected and it would just be ugh. So
Mm.
absolutely the game changer of like okay I can that is my like I'm feeling this force energy and I'm tensed and then it's like wait, take a deep breath, a few however many it needs to get this down,
Mm.
get it
Mm.
down. But yeah,
Mm.
that's helped and helped
Girl.
me to feel also embodied. Like I feel like that was almost like forced me into my body in a way because I remember I started therapy and she'd be like, how does this feel in your body? And I'd just be like,
I don't know.
girl, let me just tell you what's going on emotionally.
Right, literally, because I don't know.
What are you talking about?
It feels crazy. Like, I don't know. Like, what do you want me to say? What do you
No,
want
hot.
me to
That's
say?
how I feel. No.
Yeah, literally. Like, it feels like I'm thinking about this. Like, girl, yeah.
But yes, same with being embodied and being in our bodies and also dealing with our control freaky ass ways. Seeing and accepting these things is the first step. Accepting our bodies, accepting our controlling ways or
Mhm.
tendencies. It's a process.
Yeah.
I do want to say though, being a control freak isn't all bad for me. I feel like I've had to kind of like take the good with the bad. I tend to or tended to see things as either good or bad. And it's just like, oh, if this is bad, I want to let it go. But there are ways that certain things serve us. And if we understand how either it's serving us now or how it served us in the past, we can better understand, why we're doing it. And then instead of feeling like we need to completely eradicate parts of ourselves or habits, which can be really hard, maybe just pivoting, you know what I mean? And just being like, oh, let me use it for this, but not for that. It's a tool that I can use for this and that. But I will say, being a control freak, I've never had a problem owning my shit. And so that's why people who can't own their shit, it really is like, what?
Mhm.
I realize some shit is my fault. That's my fault. My bad. I'm sorry. Like, it's very easy. It's a very easy process. Versus there are some people that I've encountered and I have zero tolerance for that, like, you can't just be like, my bad.
Yeah.
And that's annoying.
It's hard for you. That's, like, impossible for you.
It's hard. So I will say, like, being that my control tendencies did help me with that. They also helped me with being able to have self-control because it's like I'm about the control. I'm
Mm.
control things that aren't me. So I can control me. So it is easy to make a perspective shift or when I start a mantra changing the ways of my thinking because I can control that. And it's like, "Oh, I can control this thought." Okay, once I remember that,
Mm.
be like, girl, that's not your business. Let's not. It's very easy to shift
Yeah.
into, girl, control yourself. I can control myself. And I
I
love that
got
for me. And then the last way is when I set my mind to something and I make a plan, I can commit to it and I can follow through. And I do love that for me. I feel like where it gets hard is when the plan starts to deviate and not look like how I originally wanted it to. Then I will kind of feel like giving up. But I have no problem making my plan and being like, this is what I'm gonna do, you know? And
Mhm.
I really like that about that. So that's, control freak is not all bad. Or being a
Yeah.
my little control, my inner control freak, she's not all bad. She has her
Yeah.
uses. And for me, it's important to acknowledge that. Like, girl, I can use this over here.
Oh,
But you
yeah.
over here, yes, girl.
Absolutely. I'm like my control freak, she's made sure she's like, look, you might have all these things, but you're a high achiever. We will help you get to that height. You know what I mean? And that's a strength for sure. It's like I think, there's definitely different things where, sometimes she can bring me down, but a lot of times that freak works. She could be a cool
Yeah,
freak.
she has her where she shines, where it's like,
Yeah.
absolutely, there's a control panel there with your name on it. That's like, girl,
Mhm.
when I need to get to, we need to just get it done.
Let's press
That's you
that button. Yeah, exactly, exactly. You don't need to be on all the
all the
time,
time. No,
but we
but when
just
there's
need to find your pocket.
yeah, when there's a by any means situation, that's you, girl. I'm going to you. I'm
Let's
running.
go.
I'm running this 5K, and I'm starting to hit a wall. Control freak. She wants
Mhm.
you to get this done. She wants you to make up your mind and go. She wants you to keep on going. Because what did you say you were gonna do? Right?
Do it.
That was the plan. What was the plan?
Right.
Only thing we need to do is keep running. So, babe, we're not stopping.
No.
Period. So I really, really, really like that part of myself. So I can't stress enough how when we're thinking about ourselves, we just cannot be like, this part of me is bad, this part of me is good. Because it's like there are parts of ourselves, and I know we've talked about this, where there are parts of ourselves that felt like this was a good part, but then there's way that this part is actually hurting our lives or hurting someone we love. And it's just like, it's just now, and it doesn't mean get rid of this whole part. It is just understanding that, like, okay, this is good for this, but over here it's not good for that.
Yep.
And just understanding that there's balance, there's nuance to everything, and it's not black and white. Like, weirdly, I feel like we were raised to believe a little bit.
Yeah. Very much gray.
There is
Very much
no
in the gray.
right. Everything is very obscure.
Mhm.
um, and I don't know, I like that about being human. It's very messy.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes it's good to get messy.
Okay, and be in the mess.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
are the mess. But I really love that I can have these conversations with you, and that not only do I have these conversations, but it's also a different perspective. Like I said, that while it's a similar struggle, it's not the same kind of thing. So I think it's also cool because I think there are ways that we've been able to kind of learn from each other and
Mm.
an example for each other to draw from, when it's like, okay, yeah, I see how you're doing that. Maybe I'll try that over here, maybe in reverse. You know what I
Yeah, 1000%. It really is.
mean?
It's a blessing to be able to have a fellow person, a fellow bestie
I
on the
know,
same on a similar path?
to bounce it off, because
Yeah, exactly.
um but yes, transitioning to our favorite segment, I don't like that. Oh my gosh, girl,
Oh my god.
I'm gonna let you go first, because
Oh my Well, we have a wealth to choose from. I'm going to start super light. I don't like that it's so hard to recover your iPhone if you forget the password. Holy moly. If you forget that, I had to like open the phone, an old phone that I had, and I, was letting my mom use the old phone because her phone she's like, okay, I'm done with this phone. So I'm like, all right, trying to, it should be easy enough. You just literally wipe the phone, which was already wiped, and give it over. She comes over and she's like, hey, I can't get in. Like the codes that you gave me didn't work. Reached out to my home girl, Tasha B, like, hey, girl, do you got the codes maybe that I could try? Gives me the codes. Those don't work. I'm like, what the hell? Girl, I ended up having to do the most to get into that phone. It got stuck on the locks on like the restore screen. I had to like use the computer, like plug it into the computer and do. I was trying to, I felt like I was jailbreaking a phone.
Ugh,
Like I was trying to open that damn phone for probably like 3 hours. I think it took a total of like 3 hours of just tinkering around, coming back to it. And then, it was just a lot. It happened. We did it. Got
Right.
in, restored it and all things, but I was like, it should not be that difficult.
It
So,
really shouldn't. Oh my God. I know it's technology is one of them things. Hate love. Because it's cool in a lot of ways, but then it's like when you it's weird. It's almost in those times where I'm like, oh, I need you to do what you need to do. And it's like, okay, now I'm having a problem. That's how I
now,
feel about printer. Like,
yes.
why?
Printers are always giving issues, dude.
And then it's like it's 2026. Why don't we have a printer that just prints? Like, boop,
Thank
boop, boop.
you.
I don't need you all the time. You don't need to always be on at all. I just need you to when I actually get something that's like, oh, I need this to print. And I connect to you and I hit print, I need you to just print it.
Easy.
Not I need you to print all 3 pages, not pages 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 1 through 3. And I need you to not print a test page when we're low on ink. Why are we
Right.
testing anything? You're telling me we're low on ink. You know you're low on ink. Why are we printing a whole test page in 5 different colors? What are we doing? I
We
thought we
don't
were
need to do
ink.
that. We don't need to see, and that's why, yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that. Like, no, I like the security that you're giving, like when you print normally and things are fine, but when things aren't fine, you make it so hard, and I don't like it.
Oh
So,
my God.
what you
Did
got,
you
Tiffany?
did you end up going to the Apple store or you just did it on your own? You figured it out?
I end up figuring it out. Me and Google was,
Okay.
but
You
got it done.
Oof.
Ooh. So, what
Okay.
you got? What's your first one, girl?
So, my first one is the movie The Drama with Zendaya and Robert Pattinson. Now, I'm not gonna say that I completely disliked this entire movie. I just didn't like even the theme of the movie. It was empathy, right? And how we don't really understand why people do the things they do or what it feels like to do those things or almost do those things until we're kind of in a similar situation. So that's was the theme of the movie, which I think was done well. Do you care if I spoil it? Do you want to
I
watch?
kind of want to know, but I also am like, yeah, spoil it. I don't care. I don't
You
care.
sure?
Spoil it.
All
Yeah,
right. So
because it's not
spoil.
like it's a great movie. I mean, it's not a great movie. It's like an interesting movie, right? Like if you spoil it, it's not like I can still watch it and be like, oh, right?
Yeah, yeah. I'll try not to. I'm not gonna give like specifics, but I will give like the key issue.
Okay, yeah, give it to me.
So basically, Zendaya's character planned a mass shooting when she was a teenager. She didn't carry it through. I won't go into details about why, but she ended up going through with it. But she planned a mass shooting. She planned to do
At
that
her school?
to go to her school. She even brought the weapon to school, she says.
Oh, snap.
So she is chilling with her man and her man's best friend and her man's best friend's lady. And it's right before their wedding. And they're all doing a food tasting and wine tasting for the wedding. And they're they're drinking wine and whatever. And the couple, the other couple, ends up getting on the topic of like, what's the worst thing you've ever done, right? And they end up, one person is like, oh, I'll share mine if you guys all share yours. And the first person is lightweight pressured into sharing theirs. They share theirs, and it's a fucked up thing, but it's like, oh damn, damn. And then the next person shares their thing, and you're like, damn. And then it gets to Robert Pattinson's character, and he just says like he cyberbullied somebody. He doesn't really give a lot of details, and everyone's like, wait, okay, so was it that bad? Like, da da da. And
Yeah.
he was kind of like uninteresting, and it almost is like, did he avoid that question? Anyway,
Mm.
to Zendaya's character, and she's like, I planned a mass shooting. Yeah. And then the lady, the other
Right.
woman, is hella mad. She's like, "Oh my God, like, did you know that my cousin was shot in one of those shootings and she's paralyzed now? Like, what the fuck? Da, 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 you're crazy."
Oh.
So it totally goes cray. And then of course they get home and Robert Pattinson, she's trying to like plead her case, like, oh, I didn't do it and I had my reasons and da-da-da. And he was like, you're fucked up. I don't want to talk to you. And then we talk about it in the morning. And one of the things he said that I was also like, oh, he was like, why would you share that in front of those people? Like, I get
Literally.
to tell the person you're about to marry that this was something, but that's really something that like, why would you share that with these people?
You put yourself hella on black. Like that's a deep, dark secret that you like take to the grave. Like you said, you might share with your spouse, but also too,
You got to share that with people who love you for
yes,
real,
who
that are
love
gonna be like,
you.
woo, but also, okay, let me try, help me understand, babe, walk me through it
Yeah.
because
As close to unconditional love as you can get, the person who feels that way about you, you need to share with them because they're gonna be able to forgive, I don't know if it's like forgive you or what the situation, but they'll be able to work through it a lot easier than some strangers
okay, girl,
or
the white lady was like, I feel like I should call the police. Why?
she didn't do
Because
anything.
because when she was 15, she thought about doing some shit
Right.
and didn't do it.
Like it's terrible. Don't get me
What
wrong, but
law
you
is
can't.
that she broke? That was my whole thing because the white lady was like, I need to call the police, like da, da, da. And it's like she didn't do anything though. Like she didn't do anything. It is fucked up, like you said. That is so. It's definitely a woo woo. I don't know if I would still be friends with you. Not like
Yeah.
you, but like her, because they weren't like besties.
Yeah.
Like you tell your bestie that. You don't tell
Yes.
your man's best friend's lady that. Who the fuck? Like unless that's your locked in sister. You know what I mean? But like, why would she share that? So anyway, he says that, and it's just like, yeah, for real. But then things kind of like go cray from there. It's 824, so you can maybe imagine like how things.
Yep.
It's cray, and then their wedding is the drama. Their wedding is the drama. Like, oh my god, I'm not even gonna spill anything, but it's just like the wedding.
Okay.
Woo! Oh my god,
Ew.
girl, oh my god. So yeah, I would say it is a good movie, but what I didn't like about it, let's get back to that. What I didn't like about it was they took an issue in this country and made it a black woman kind of thing. Like
Mm.
they brought up this issue and they were like, oh, gun violence is an issue in America and blah blah blah. But then they made the woman the shooter. And I think that's the thing where like we don't really see a lot of accountability for white men as a whole when it comes to those issues. They always want to say things like, oh, it was a lone wolf type of person and he had
Mhm.
all these standalone type things versus when other demographics of people do things, it kind of becomes a stereotype. It becomes something that like is absolutely their race plays a huge part or their gender plays a huge part or their sexual orientation plays a huge part in them and this crime and the way that it's talked about. And so I
Mm.
like making her the mass shooter did feel very much like you brought up the issue without really bringing up the issue because I really that
Yes.
there is a lot of white boys, especially like in a higher, maybe, upper middle class, rich kind of white boys that have access to guns and are shooting up schools. That's been
Mm.
for a long time. The vast majority of these shootings are white boys, white men
Yep.
getting guns and shooting up places.
Yep.
And it really did feel like, oh, you took an issue and you kind of like almost shifted the blame to a completely
Oh,
different demographic. Like that's not who is shooting up these schools. That's not who's thinking that it's cool. So for me, that's the part about it where I really didn't like it. I felt like, what?
yeah.
But I do think, was it necessary for them to kind of like make certain people be empathetic? Like,
Mm.
did it make me more empathetic to the character that almost did the mass shooting? Yeah, it did. But then I think
Ooh.
if I'm the white male, am I really going to get the message of empathy here because it's a person that doesn't
Black
look like.
woman. Right. Ooh, that's
But from that perspective, that's where it's like, oh, you were almost there with trying to teach
have a
empathy.
lesson.
I am not somebody that needs to learn empathy, right?
Right.
I'm not maybe it's these people who don't. Like there's a demographic that we can all see very sharply in HD that doesn't that is struggles with empathy, which is white men. They struggle with it. Maybe you should have led with that. I don't know. I don't know. That's where I feel it's just like I didn't like the way you did that, but it made me feel something. So I thought it was good. I do recommend that you watch it. I would love to talk about it with you in depth because it was like what the fuck? Oh my god! Just
Okay.
all
It
the
does. It seems so very interesting. A24 movies are always very thought provoking in one way or another. Like it's like they might be weird and like creepy or gory or whatever, but it does make you think. That's for sure. It makes you think. You don't always agree, but you're like, oh. So interesting. Okay, the drama.
the drama. You're gonna react. I know you.
Yes.
Opinion for sure, for sure.
Girl. Well, speaking of gun violence, um, also trigger warning, very violent topic. So I don't like Roland Martin. Did
Woo!
look, he so if you haven't heard about this yet, so Roland Martin um made a post on social media and he did a kind of like felt like a shout out. It was a carousel post of him and the lieutenant governor of Virginia, who recently murdered his wife, because she asked to have a divorce. Um, his name,
Did not.
huh?
I'm saying no, he did not.
He did. He did. His name
Okay.
was Justin Fairfax, and his wife is Serena
Yeah.
Fairfax. And Roland Martin, terrible tragedy, crazy sad. And Roland Martin went on to his social media, made this like 15 slide carousel post of pictures of him and uh, Justin Fairfax, and he's like talking in his caption like, "Oh, we were I forgot what fraternity they were in together, but I think it was like the Boule type fraternity." And so they're like, "Yeah, we're in this fraternity, and I we were friends, but I did not know he was going through a divorce. And, there's like things that, I did not know about him, but he was a really great man." And he said something like he wanted to honor his friend or something like that, or honor his life. Girl, and then kind of sprinkled in there too, I know that there was like domestic violence, what's it like where you're basically domestic violence cases against him in the past, and that really hurt him, like, it really hurt him. And then now, it's really sad because I also knew Serena, and like it was a mess. The post was a mess, very tone deaf, very much like the fraternity that he mentioned ended up reaching out to him and being like, "Hey, can you um remove our name from that post?" Like, we don't this goes against the guidelines for how we operate. So remove any mention of us and remove the picture of him and like the garb. You can take that down as well. And so I
What?
think he ended up, yeah, girl, he ended up deleting the post. And he had like a call, like, I think, was it the same day? He had like a call with like two men, he was like, "I'm going to have a few conversations over the next couple of days that are meeting with like health professionals and people like who are professionals in like domestic violence world." And like, he's just like, "I want to bring people onto my platform and talk about this." And the first day was like just men in the discussion talking about domestic violence and things like that. And everyone felt like, okay, not only did you do that right after this post, but you also like, don't have any women involved in this conversation. And then the very next day, or the next conversation he had a woman on, and then they were talking, and he kind of like dug his heels into his decision to make that post and to put that up, and in the context that he did. And it just felt like people were just asking like, "Hey, it's one thing to say that that person's your friend, but like timing, bro, like timing. You're going to put that up literally right after this happens, and you're going to talk about honoring his life, when really it's like, bro, what honor does somebody like that have when they murder their wife and themselves with their children in the home, because also their kids were home, and their oldest son found both of them and had to call the police. So it's just like you can have like you I think you I just don't like anything about that situation. You can have your little at home honoring if you want,
Okay, take that to that man's funeral.
take it to his
With your
funeral.
family. Go talk to his mama about this. Why are you on a public platform when everybody is seeing and hearing this story of how this woman was murdered because she wanted you out?
Yeah. Yeah. So I was just like, bro, come on. Like you're a public figure, Roland Martin, and you know better than that. Come on now. There's no sensitivity in that.
It
Like,
made it even more disrespectful to me when he was like, "Oh, and it's she's kind of an afterthought." And I knew Serena. You
yes.
knew Serena and her husband murdered her, and that's not where you started. You didn't start there. You
Mm,
didn't start there.
yeah.
This was your friend, but you had no idea he was going through a divorce.
How? How? How?
You mentioned that he has. I remember reading about Justin Fairfax, and I guess he was gonna run for, I think, like governor or something like that, or
Mm.
and when he was about to do that, uh, somebody said that in college he sexually assaulted them,
Oh, it was okay.
and
Mm.
that pretty much derailed his career. So, yeah, maybe
Yeah,
that's what Roland was talking about, where it's like, oh, that devastated him, and it.
probably.
And it's like, okay, yeah, that sucks, but did you assault that person? There had to be some facts there for it to really derail your career like that, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't like even the language. I remember thinking of that, of just like, okay, we're talking about his sexual assault and how it affected him. What about this person that you assaulted? Like, there's the language. And then, yeah, I feel like this isn't the first time that I've heard of Roland Martin being a misogynist in some way. Like, there's a lot of men, all races, that just really and sexual orientations, I will say, that
Mm.
are absolutely misogynistic towards
Yeah.
women, like absolutely sexist. So I really hope that there's sincerity in him reaching out to these mental health professionals about domestic violence, but I do think he should reach out to somebody about his biases, about his
Mm.
own blind spots, because that's really what this is seeming like, where it's just like you totally only saw this man in this tragedy, and you didn't see this man for what he did to
Mm.
his kids, what he did to his wife, what he did to his family. Like, you didn't see that of like, this is his actions. This wasn't a terrible tragedy. This was him committing a heinous act.
Yep.
It was him. He would be alive, and so would his wife, if it wasn't for him choosing to take a gun and end both of their lives. So, and I feel like that's the thing where it's like, it's weird with men. There's this like tendency to only see how things affect them, and there's so much, and I feel like that's so much of like the issue with men and why they feel like what they call misandry is a thing, when it's like,
Mm.
oh, what we're doing is holding you accountable, and to you that feels so foreign. It feels very, oh my gosh, this feels like oppression, when really it's like, no, boo, these are called consequences for what you're
Mhm.
doing. This is called people calling you out for bad behavior. This is called cause and effect, boo. We all learn about it so young, women as women. It's like what you do is going to be scrutinized. It's going to be brought up. It might even be thrown in your face a bunch of times.
Yep.
You're gonna be blamed for things that you didn't do. And I feel like with men, they can't even handle owning and accepting blame for the things they did do. And
Mm-mm.
men don't even want to blame other men for things they did do. He sexually assaulted somebody in college, and that messed up his career. Crazy it didn't mess up his college education, but it did mess up his career.
And yet he was still able to become lieutenant governor of Virginia. So, you know, how much did it really derail?
It kind of
So,
came back around cold, like karma does. Karma is, it's a cold dish a lot of times,
mhm. Yep.
And I think that kind of came back. And then again, you prove your violent nature when you murder your wife because she wants you to move out of the house and divorce you.
Yeah.
Crazy he did that with the kids home. How
it's
those poor kids.
very selfish, very selfish.
Extremely. My
Yeah.
God. And then here you are. I want to honor him. What?
What are you talking
This is
about?
how we have the president we have. That's like how
What?
we're here because of this type of thinking. It's really disgusting. I don't like that
It
either.
is. Yeah.
But down to
Boo.
comes down to you, Roland Martin.
Mm, literally.
I on a similar note though, my one of mine was absolutely just all this violence against
Oh,
women and children. Just in the news, it just seems like it's nonstop. Every single week, there's more violence against women, more violence against children, whether it be migrants and people that are detained by ICE, both children and women and men, but like literally the women and children are being raped
yep.
in these ICE facilities.
That is
It's disgusting. All of the abuse is disgusting, but the sexual abuse to the kids and the women is just disgusting. It makes me throw up every time I'm thinking like this is our tax money.
paying for this. Like, oh my gosh. Like, there was a certain, you know, how Dave Chappelle had that interview not too long ago on with NPR,
Mm,
and he said something like, what did he say? I don't know how much I really agreed with this portion, but he did say something that I was like, well, when he was like, you know, we come back and or he said there's really very little that you can do in this country that is not in some way, shape, or form contributing to some really negative thing. You know, like, you know, if you put gas in your car, if you're using money, cash with slave owners on it, like, you know, all these things. And it's like, you buy food from the grocery store, different things where it's like some anything that you're buying, purchasing, or whatever is being built off of the backs of someone, you know, and they're not being treated fairly at all. And they
yeah,
might even be deeply exploited,
yeah.
deeply abused, you know, in one way or another. And so I just felt like that was like, wow, it definitely made me think about that. And I think about that sometimes where I'm like, man, if I just want to have a normal freaking life in this country, I have to contribute to that. Like, if I participate in capitalist society, that's that's what you're participating in. And it's like, it's fucking sick. Like you said, it makes you sick to your stomach. Like,
Sick, sick,
yeah.
sick, 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 and it's really, ugh, it sucks. But specifically the violence against women and children, it just really makes me feel very unsafe. Like I felt very unsafe this past week. Just feeling like,
Mm,
oh, leaving the house feels heavy. Um, it just a heaviness. It's been on my
yeah.
shoulders, and I've been doing everything that I can to again look at these stories. That's why it was important to shout out Bobby Gibb and see the ways that like women have always endured, always persevered, always been tenacious, and I'm just going to keep going. And it feels very, there's women of all the races in this country, all over the world, but especially in this country, every single woman, like it's all women here. And then it's
Mhm.
it's it's a specific type of oppression and suppression when you're like a woman of color, be it
Mm,
be it whatever color. Black women, it's going to be different from if you're like a South Asian woman. It's going to be different because then it's going to be like a cultural thing, and
yeah.
then societal thing on top of that. And we all have that, right? There's all these cultural ways that women are dismissed or oppressed, and then there's these societal ways, and it really does feel very I don't know, it just feels like a barrier, or maybe even just like a dense fog you have to kind of wade through when
Mhm.
the things. And when it comes to even just finding you and
Yep.
finding that place of like empowerment and strength, you know it's
Yes.
ugh, breaking those even the limits we set on ourselves. It sucks. I hate that it kind of ripples through, but I'm kind of glad because it does send me to a more introspective place. So
Mm, yeah.
good and bad. What are you gonna do?
Girl, girl. Whew, yeah. Um, well, going into another one I have is
Yeah.
which is a little lighter, and I feel weird about transitioning in such a harsh way. But
No, you're good. You're good. Look, this is real. This
this
is
is real, right? This is life.
up and down.
Up and down, ups and downs. So, okay, something I don't like is I don't like Lil Wayne complaining all the time. Like,
What's he complaining about now?
girl, he's talking about how he got left out from the Grammys and from Coachella. Coachella. He's like, places like Coachella and the Grammys are always leaving me out, and it's really humbling and da da da. But whatever. And I'm like, yo, but also too, like he was invited to, where was it? Was it Essence Fest? Or no, not Essence Fest. What was the one of the oh my gosh, oh, I'm blanking. It was one of the like black award shows, or more like black award shows that happens.
NAACP awards?
No, I was gonna think that too, but no. Or maybe it was a conference like an Essence Fest. I'm gonna have to,
Okay.
okay, do my research there. But it was one, like he was invited to that. I know he was asked to perform at the verses with when his peoples was performing, and he had said, yes, I will show up, I will be there. And then the day of, he canceled. Like there's been other instances of that happening where he's supposed to be somewhere and he doesn't show up or something like that. And so it's just like, bro, show up to the places that you're wanted then. Like, you know what I mean? And also too, if nobody, if you're like, oh, the Super Bowl, woo, woo, I just feel like, for me anyways, I understand the feeling of, wanting to be recognized, as we just talked about in length. Like I got the praise kink, right? And so it's definitely understandable. But also too, I'm big on go where you're wanted, don't try to, like, if those institutions aren't trying to show you love, go where you are loved, because you're a huge artist. You've performed at many places many times. So it's like, I get it, Lil Wayne, but also too, aren't you like super MAGA too? Like, aren't you like very much like not super down for the people? Like he made a few comments about,
Absolutely.
blackness and girl, it's just also too like, Lil Wayne, shut up. Shut up.
Yeah, I think that's the
Shut
thing
up.
is like with him, because I'm as you're talking about this, I'm thinking, I'm like, why am I also like, why would you perform at these places? No, nobody want to see that. But it's like, as somebody who was a hardcore Lil Wayne fan back in the day, what is it? And I'm like, I stepped away for a lot of the reasons that you just said. It just feels like he totally lost touch with like everything that he was rapping about. And it's like everything we liked you for, you totally like want to keep talking about it in your music, but you're absolutely, same thing with like Kanye and a lot of these people, that it's like you come up as an artist and you're talking to a demographic that you're coming from, that you have a certain finger on that pulse and you're speaking, and we're all relating to what you're saying and we love it. But then it's like you make a certain amount of money, you get a certain amount of notoriety, and now all the white people like you, and now you're
Like,
feeling more so, you're more in that space.
yeah.
And the way that you're speaking to us, what we're hearing is very much like, what the you've never experienced racism? Are
Like,
you
Lil Wayne,
what are you talking, what are you fucking talking about?
you're
I've
gonna
literally
tell
heard
me.
rap lyrics about racism. So now all of a sudden you've never experienced racism. I'm gonna need you to get the fuck off of my headphones. I don't want to
Yeah.
hear this shit. I'm really, I remember being really disappointed. And I went from listening to a whole bunch of Lil Wayne to like not listening to any Lil Wayne. Cause then it starts to be like, for me, I already don't really like the like, kill that nigga, shoot all these.
Mhm.
I don't like that music. Like it's very to me it's violent, and then it's also just like, why specifically black people? I don't like that you're so
Mm,
you are black. It's just like, why? Why do you want to kill your fellow black people? Why do you want to do that? And it makes it even more apparent and more harsh when you hear that from somebody who's kind of like saying racism doesn't exist and voting for Donald Trump and all this stuff. It's just like, okay, now I feel like you are a threat and I don't want to
yeah.
support you in any way. And I think that's the thing that celebrities, I don't know, they like call it cancel culture, but it's also like, again, these are just consequences. You're saying all this shit. You have the right to be like, I stand for this. And I've never, you can say all that crazy ass shit you want to say,
Yeah.
but we also can be like, okay, yeah, I'm not buying that ticket.
I'm not doing this with
And
you.
then because we don't like you, then these places that have to sell tickets and get people to watch their show, they're not going to book you because we don't like you. And
Yeah.
that's the thing. I don't like Lil Wayne. I, learned that a long time ago. I don't like you.
He
You
had
don't you
he
don't
had
care about
hits.
you, but the music, cool. But you as an artist, I
And
don't.
even with the music, when was the last great Lil Wayne album or even song? Let's just say song, not even album. We won't even put the album pressure on it. When's the last great Lil Wayne song that you was like, oh, fire, Lil Wayne?
Pre-COVID.
Way pre. So yeah, just don't
Oh,
like that. Just
yeah, no. I'm gonna need you to just be quiet. Like that's the best thing he could do for his career, in my opinion, with our demographic. Because I don't know who else who's just like, I don't care. I just really feel like just be quiet. Like really, just be the fuck quiet, and don't even have to try to make new music. The old stuff is gonna circle back around, and we're gonna fuck with it. But you don't give us a chance to when you keep kind of reminding us that like, oh, I forgot. Like, yeah.
literally what Kendrick say? Sit down, be humble. That's it. He's like, I feel really humbled. Good. Maybe you just stay
I
in
feel,
that frequency for a little bit.
I feel like you don't feel humbled though.
Because you're complaining about
Like
it
maybe,
online.
yeah, or maybe you do feel humble, but you're fighting it, and you're like, no, no, sit down. It's okay. You know who you are. We know who you were. We know kind of what you're standing for now, and that shit is trash. I feel like you can't be the I don't give a fuck you type of person, then be mad that people don't like you.
Literally.
I feel like there's a lot of artists, like Doja Cat comes to mind. Like there's a lot of artists that feel like that, where they say things that are like, I don't give a fuck what anybody has to say about me, and you're mean to your fans, and then you're wondering why people are, coming at you online in a negative ass way. You wondering why, nobody's really fucking with you like that.
And it's
When
like,
you
because you
expect
gave
like
us the, what are you
slapping
talking
your face
about?
in the crowd and wondering why people stop coming to the show. Why would I come here to be slapped? Why would I
Why?
pay you to come treat me like shit and listen to your mediocre ass music? No, I'm not paying to be slapped by this artist. Are you out of your mind? Bye. As a matter of fact, I don't even like the song. Bye. So yeah, I don't like that either. He's wildin'. You're wildin'. Lil Wayne, you need to just keep it shut. My last one is, oh my God. Okay, so I got a rose bush. The roses bloomed, and then we had like that storm come, and now like all the little flowers like wilted. There's like petals on the ground. I'm like, like I know it'll grow more flowers, but it's just like, oh, I don't like that. I don't like seeing that. And also, I put a monstera. I have a few little baby monsteras in water in my house. They have like a few leaves each, and they're not thriving in the water, right? And so I was like, oh, let me put it. But every time I put a monstera in soil in my house, it dies. Like it just does not like it. And so I was like, okay, I seen a few neighbors of mine have monsteras, really nice monsteras with the like, leaves with the slits in them and everything, beautiful monsteras on their porch. And so I'm like, okay, let me try to this monstera. I had one in the water and it had roots and everything. And I was like, I'm gonna put this one in soil and put it on my porch. Girl, it's not looking happy. It's like I don't know if it's dying. It's still the same color, but it just looks very much like limp as hell. And so I'm really just like, I don't know if I want to like bring it inside and try to put it somewhere inside, or if I want to just leave it out there and just hope it toughs it out. I don't know. Oh, you're muted. Yeah, your thing is blinking. It's blinking. We're having some technical difficulties. This is our first time filming this using the Substack Studio app. So bear with us for just a second.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Good, good, good. Okay. Yeah, sorry. My mic piece died.
Oh no.
No, I know. I'm like, dang. Okay, rude.
You still sound good though. So
Good. Thank you.
uh,
But sorry, you were talking about the Monsteras
yeah,
and babies.
it's the rose bush looks fine, but the roses are not all of them, but a good amount of them have been trampled by that hard ass rain. But she'll survive. She'll be fine. But the Monstera, I'm like, I don't know, girl. I might have to just let you die or
Mm.
bring you inside. I don't want to bring it inside because I feel like, you're not gonna live in here. We've lived through that. We know. You're not gonna get
You're
used.
not gonna make it in here.
You're not. You're
You're
really not.
not.
You know, maybe you tough it out, or maybe I buy a Monstera that's outside. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what's going on. But I don't
Yeah.
get that though. I like Monstera. What is wrong with you? Like what?
Right.
People have monsteras and like I've seen like a bit you walk into a random business and they have a monstera that is just like, okay, so you're happy in this restaurant getting walked by and people swiping up against you.
And
i,
breathe on.
I doubt it's a lot of tender love and care in this restaurant right now, and you're thriving. But in my house,
You have one-on-one attention and you're just look, low
you're
energy.
tripping. I put you right in the bright indirect sunlight that you love and you're tripping.
You said no.
You
No,
don't
put me in a Buca de Beppo and I will thrive.
put me in somebody's musty gym. I love that.
I
But
love that.
your very nice, brightly lit kitchen where you
No,
see me every day and make sure I have what I need. Nope. So yeah, I don't know. I'm mad at that monster on the porch. Like, bitch, whatever. If you want to die,
do
that's
it.
your right. I'm not here to whatever. I don't care.
Yeah. Don't like that. Don't
Don't that. Oh,
like But what I do like is for our thank you today,
ew.
which is this amazing dude. His name's King Randall on Instagram. His group is called The X for Boys. And I feel like that sounds a little interesting,
Yeah.
just the title. But what's really cool is that he has this whole series that he shares on Instagram, but it's an actual like in-person group that he hosts for young men. I think it goes to like 13 or something. He might have other groups or other age groups, but anywho, it basically is a whole situation where he teaches his whole thing is boys should know. Like boys should know X. And so he goes every day or every however often they meet and teaches them a new life skill. And so he'll like one of the videos was like how to maneuver through paying utility bills, how to set boundaries and hold boundaries and to respect boundaries, how to use a toolbox. And he like takes them to Home Depot, picks out the tools, and they go somewhere and they do they work on something, like how to set up appointments for yourself, like setting up your doctor's appointment or something, and like walks them through. And the video that I found him through was a consent video, like how to um, give and I guess is it receive? Yeah, give and receive consent, right? And what is not consent? Even if it sounds like, even if it's a verbal yes, what is a real yes? Using body language and context clues, things like that. And I was just like, oh my gosh, he's a Black man, and I don't know where he's located, but his whole class is also young Black boys, and it was just really beautiful because it's like, man, we need that in this world. We just talked about a bunch of stuff that's like violence and heavy and like mental health issues. And it's like, man, yeah, these young boys who will grow up to be men, they need a really positive man in their life who's teaching them how to just have normal life skills, operate and move through life in a way that will like allow them to respect themselves and others. And
Yeah.
so just a huge thank you to King Randall. He's amazing.
Absolutely. I think we need more men to do that because I feel like men are only going to only a certain percentage of men will hear and take in information from a woman. They
Yeah.
need to hear it from a man, and then men are the ones who set the tone for manhood, what it is to be a man, especially when it comes to these kids.
Mm,
And unfortunately, there are a lot of men out there that are really pushing this woman hating, misogynistic, red pill content to the youth. And
yeah.
so it is nice to have, especially in real life, somebody out there
Yeah.
in to get little young men together and teach them, more positive ways to show up as a man, especially because a lot of that red pill content, a lot of this misogynistic, woman hating type things, a lot of people don't realize like this patriarchy shit hurts men. Like
Mm,
it does hurt women, like disproportionately, absolutely. But on a mental and emotional level, it also alienates men. You're
yeah.
alienating yourself and blaming women for the alienation. And I think that's where we are in society of like, there's a lot of cause and effect type shit going on, and women saying like, oh my God, I hate men. They're scary. We choose the bear. And
Mm,
men at that and not the reason, not even paying attention to the reasons behind why a woman would rather be in the woods alone with a bear than a man.
mm.
Be a
Ooh,
good man in your mind, but you need to understand why. Pay attention to that. Lean into that. Why
yes.
is a man more scary than a bear to a woman?
Exactly. Exactly. Crazy. And it's like if there were more groups like this that he has put together, we would be all the better for it.
We
Like
would be.
everyone, men, women, all those in between would be so much better off for that. Like,
Absolutely. Better society, a place where there's accountability, a place where people are owning their shit. No one is saying that women don't want to own their shit because women do things that, we could be better as well. But I do think there's a tendency to focus more on that than there is men.
mm,
What are girls wearing? We're policing what they're wearing, what women wear, where women go. Like we're just saying it's like, oh, if I'm out at night, I gotta be with somebody or have a pepper spray or you know what I mean? And it's like there's only so much of that I can control. If there's a person who doesn't respect women and wants to violate me, I can't stop that grown ass man from choosing to violate me. I can do my best to defend myself and run away, but at the end of the day, if somebody wants to hurt me, they'll figure out a way to hurt somebody.
yep.
So kudos to him for teaching the youth and being a space where they can actually get some real good positive information for not just society but for themselves as well. Have like
Yeah.
a positive outlook on what it is to be a man.
I know, I know. I feel like something that we like to do here is also provide positive outlooks on life, on the lessons that we're learning. We're not young. Well, we're young women. Hold on now. I was gonna say we're not young boys. No, we're not that. But we're still little hotties. Trying to also kind of do the same for other women and people who are listening in our community. And if you want to be continuing to be a part of this community or want to share what you're learning here, we would love to hear from you on our email address, which is heyhowtobereal@gmail.com, where you can
Yeah.
send us any little thoughts and love and advice and, you know, all those cool things. You can also always find us on socials at how to the letter B real. We're out there on almost all the platforms. So do a little digging, you'll find us. I'm at just under say. Whoa, just under say? Just
Say.
right. Just say underscore say.
And I'm at the Tasha B.
Yes. And remember, we're not therapists. We just have them. So take it all with a little grain of salt, y'all. And this week's random reel is on me.
Yes
So
it
I'll
is.
keep it going, keep the train going. And it's honestly really quite aligned with what we're talking about today, and that's embrace your inner weirdo,
Mm,
embrace your inner freak. You know what I mean? Because we only have this one life, so why not get a little weird? As long as it feels good to you, and hopefully those around you as well. Then why not? Do a little,
be
do a
weird even if you have to do that when you're just by yourself, but still
exactly,
be weird, babe. we
yeah.
like we
We
like you
love,
to
yeah, exactly. Exactly. And with that, y'all, stay
be
real. Bye.
bye.